Damn it.
What?
I meant to mute the TV.
I'll do it.
All right. Hey y'all, come on in, come on through, come on in. Give me a second, y'all, give me a second. Who hit you? Hit you a toy?
Oh. I don't even know what he is.
Under the chair. Whatever. Can't worry about it.
What you got? Whatever it is, he ate it.
No, he's chewing it. Okay. Don't worry. I think it's probably a soda cap. Because he likes chewing
treats for him.
He already had them. I don't even know if he ate them, but I think I gave them to him.
Jesus. Oh, I don't know what my anemia is. Is that really? I hope.
Come here. I can't get him.
Give it here.
What is it?
I don't know what it is. Give it. You're always chewing on something. What is it? What are you chewing?
Whatever it is, it's still under. Child, you don't want to know. He let it out of his mouth.
It's all right.
Y'all, today it's a rough day for both of us.
I hope it's not a rough day. The day just started.
It's a rough day for both of us.
Hey,
I'm in the mood for a totally different reason. Jamel in the mood for a different reason. And the bad part is, well, the good part is we ain't in the mood with each other. It's just different situations that's going on. All right, let me speak to everybody because y'all was speaking and I just got in the chat. Hey, Blog. Hey, Trisha. Hey, Reese Cup. Hey, Lisa. Lawrence. Velvet Satin. Who else? Who else is here? Hey, Positive Mukbanger. Monica. Hey, Justinini. Hey, Kathleen. Kathleen, like your jacket.
Thank you. Hey, Reese Cup.
Hey, y'all, I just called y'all in the order that y'all popped in.
Hey, Blogs and Fiction. Hey, everybody. Y'all know I'm not. I'm not good at looking at the comments. Y'all know I can't damn it see. It's time for me to go to the eye doctor, but because of the coronavirus, you know, eye doctor's open, and I really need to get me some glasses. Because I wear bifocals.
Yeah.
So if y'all notice, I'm always looking up like this because I can only see out the bottom of my glasses.
So y'all,
I have a condition called retinopathy, diabetic retinopathy. It affects my eyes, and so that's why I wear bifocals. Jomel,
sit in.
Take a
This
seat.
should kick in if he ate them. He put one on the floor and then I gave him another one.
Okay. Good morning, everybody.
Hey, y'all.
I'm telling y'all right now, I'm about to be negative real quick. So I got to get it out my system. Joseph.
Go ahead.
I have to say, oh God, I woke up. I really woke up trying not to feel negative, but of course, you guys know I have insomnia, and my husband, he thinks that, when I'm up all night, that I just lay in the bed and watch TV, but in reality, I don't. I think a lot. It gives me a lot of time to think because he's asleep. Jomel is like kind of quiet and stuff like that. So it gives me a time to think and I reflect on a lot of things. And one of the things that I reflected on this morning was my childhood again. Why? I don't know. I don't know why I keep reverting back to my childhood because and then when I revert back on my childhood, I come to the realization of things, and sometimes I ask why, but lately I don't really ask why. I just process it and deal with it. And then last night I was thinking about my childhood. I, I, I was thinking about my childhood and I came to the realization that if I grew up in this day and age, what happened to me in my childhood would be considered abuse. I mean, I was physically and emotionally and mentally abused by my parents my entire childhood, my whole entire childhood. The only thing I kept on thinking about last night was how many beatings I got. I mean, I couldn't think of anything else, Joseph. It was like every time, everything I thought about, I remember, I remember sitting in the chair. I mean, I remember, um, I would come home from school and I would try to do my homework. And I was very, very bad at math. I was very bad at math.
Me too.
I was addition, subtraction, multiple. I was bad at it.
Me too.
And the one thing I remember from my childhood about math was, and this is why I hate math to this day, is my father would sit with me and he would go over my homework with me. But he wouldn't help me do my homework like, your parent would say, okay, well, this is how this is done and this is how that is done. My father would sit there and he would take my homework and he would look at it and he would be like, well, what's the answer to that? And I would shake and cringe. And I still shake and cringe every time I think about it. He would say, well, what's the answer to that? And I would say what answer I thought it was. And my father was a police officer. So he had a belt. Like if you've ever seen a police officer, next time you see a police officer, ask him to let you feel his belt. A police officer's belt is about that thick. And my father, every time I got an answer wrong, he would beat the shit out of me. I mean, like not like a head. My father would beat. What he got? What he got, Joseph? Mm. Oh, he got a treat. He got a treat. He would beat the shit out of me every single time I got an answer. And I kid you not, I'm for the most part, I got every answer wrong. So and my father would come home from work. He would wake me up out of bed to do my homework with me. It was like something he looked forward to. It seemed like because my father was a police, so he wouldn't come home until like midnight, and I'd be up until like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning doing my homework. And my father would finally get mad, and he would sit there and he would do my homework with me, and then he would go over it with me. And if I got one thing wrong, he would beat the fucking shit out of me. And if he wasn't doing it, my mother was doing it. The only thing I remember from my childhood with my parents is I was always getting a beating. I was always getting a beating. My sisters, although they got beatings once in a blue moon, and when I mean once in a blue moon, I'm talking about I can count on these many hands how many times my sisters got a beating in 1 year. but I would get my ass whooped just about every day. Every single day. And I wasn't, no police officers never came to my mother's door or my father's door. Nobody ever came. I was a mischievous kid. I was a little boy. I admit, I was a little boy. I was mischievous sometimes. I would lie to my parents. They would say, "Did you do such and such?" I'd be like, "No, Daddy, I didn't do it. No, Mommy, I didn't do it." And for the most part, that was like the worst thing I did. I remember falling outside. I fell outside. You see this bald spot in the back of my head? I don't know if you see it. I fell. I fell outside and I busted my head. I had to get 6 stitches. And my father and my mother took me to the hospital and they held me down to get these stitches because I didn't know what they was doing, because it was in the back of my head. And when I got home, I got a beating. I got a beating because my mother said I embarrassed her in front of her friends, because my mother was a nurse and she worked at the hospital. So my mother said I embarrassed her in front of my friends, and so I got my ass whooped. I got my ass whooped. And I tell you, last night, that's all I thought about. I was like, wow. And see, I don't cry about it anymore. As you guys see, I don't cry about it. I really don't have a lot of emotion about it because I've been there. I've done that. I've processed that part of it. And to me, it ain't no reason to cry no more. You know what I'm saying? But it's amazing to me. It's amazing to me that I survived all of that, on top of the sexual abuse by my cousin. I was being sexually abused by my cousin. He was raping me, and my father and my mother, when I wasn't home at my home, my father would send me over to my aunt's house. I grew up with a whole bunch of cousins. I had 10 cousins, and we all grew up. Basically, we were all raised together. And when I went over to my aunt's house, all my cousins were there. And my one cousin, I ain't gonna say his name, he would rape me. Like, rape me. I knew about penetration at the age of 10. He would rape me. Oh, wow. Whew. I didn't even know that still affected me. I didn't even know that's still. Whew. But the son of a bitch is dead now. He died. Karma is a bitch. Karma is a bitch.
Take it down.
Oh my Lord, have mercy.
Trust me, I understand, because the one that did it to me, he's dead too, and he shot himself in the head by accident.
Oh Lord, have mercy.
So I get it. Trust me, I get it.
He told me. He told me. Here's the thing, y'all. He always told me. He always told me. He said, nobody will ever believe you. He said, nobody will ever believe you. And when I went and I told my mother I was 40 years old. I waited until I was 40 years old and I told my mother what he had done to me, and my mother told me.
I need to get you tissue.
My mother told me that she didn't know if he did it to me or not, but he was always good to her.
Use this to dry your teeth. Use that.
Oh. Oh, Lord. I'm 53 years old, y'all. 53. It's still.
Oh, I understand. Because mine told me if I told, he would do it to my sister.
Nobody in my family believes me. They don't believe me.
Then do it to my sister.
Nobody. My sisters, they tell me, oh, Tramel, you got what you deserve.
So let me ask you a question.
They said you got what you deserve. They told me when my mother and father used to beat on me, the way they did, they told me I got what I deserve. But let me tell you, I'm here to tell you that you don't deserve that. You don't deserve that. I was made to feel ugly. People used to call me black names. I dealt with colorism, and it wasn't from white people. It was from my own people. My own people. All my childhood, my own people called me names because of the color of my skin. And I'm telling you, people, you gotta know that you're better than that you deserve better than that. You gotta know it. You gotta know it. You gotta know that you deserve better. You gotta know that you deserve better. Don't you let nobody tell you that you are less than. Because if you do, you're gonna end up right here on camera crying just like me, telling your story.
But you gotta get
you
helping somebody.
I hate for another child to go through what I went through. I hate it. I hate there's some child out there that's enduring exactly what I endured. If you have a child, love your children. I don't care. You love your child unconditionally. You show your child that you love them every single day. And if you are a child that's been abused, if you are somebody that has been ridiculed and teased all your life, you pick yourself up and you look in the mirror and you tell your damn self that you are better. And if you are not better at that time, you make a promise to yourself that you are going to be better. Please. Oh my Lord, have mercy.
I'm just looking. I'm trying to hold back my tears because he just put me back in my mind frame when I was 8 and it happened to me. And he didn't tell me nobody would believe me. He told me that if I told, he would do it to my sister. And because I knew it was wrong for him to do it to my sister, because she was way younger, she was 3 years younger than me. So I was 8, she was 5. I just stayed quiet and let him do it. Until one day my mother knew something was wrong with me. Because that was the first time he ever tried to really penetrate me. And she made me sit down in the kitchen. And I was like, I have to stand up. And she said, sit down. And I was like, Mommy, please. She said, nope, you're going to tell me what's wrong. Because she knew something was wrong. I said, I can't tell you. Because if I tell you, something is going to happen to Tracy. So now, you're going to tell me. Well, what's going to happen to Tracy? So if I said, if I draw you a picture, is that telling you? And she said, no. If you draw me a picture, you didn't tell me. You just drew a picture. So I drew 2 stick figures, one bent over, and I wrote me underneath. And I drew another one, and I drew like a little circle like this. Of course, she flipped out and screaming, who is this? Who is this? So I started writing his name. She snatched the biggest kitchen knife out of a knife, went and grabbed him by the collar, lifted him up off the floor, and was about to plunge a knife in his chest. And his father stopped her. And they got into it because I was a liar. That didn't happen. I remember it was like the most embarrassing thing because I remember all of this at 8. I had to go to the hospital. They put me in the fetal position. They ran all these tests. As soon as they put me in the fetal position, They told my mother we don't even have to examine him. We could see from here that he's not lying. He's telling the truth. She prosecuted him to the fullest extent of the law. And the lies he told on me at 8 years old, how I seduced him and I came on to him and I forced him to do these things to me. And I was asking to give him oral sex. And I'm trying to say it in a decent way. And my mother was just even more mad because she, hearing these things that he made me do, that he said I enticed him to, I wanted to do. And I remember I was fine. And then they had to call her and tell her that he was getting out of jail at 18 or juvenile, wherever they put him, because he was young. He was like 16. And when he turned 18, and I was about to go to high school, and I was scared. I was scared that I would run into him or I would see him. And I was scared because I was still scared. I felt like him. And like Jamel said, karma's a bitch.
You know what sucks?
He shot himself in the head playing Russian
You know what
roulette.
sucks? I had to stop speaking to my own mother, and I sit here and I pray. I sit here at my phone and I wait for that call. I wait for her to call me. I told her, I talked to her, and I told her, I cannot have a relationship with you anymore because you won't acknowledge all those things that you did to me. And I sit by my phone and I wait for her to call, and she has not called, Joseph. She won't even call me. She won't even pick up the phone and call me. What mother does that? And I still love her. I still love her.
And you always will.
Unconditionally. Okay. I'm done.
But I thought you said you starting out negative. This ain't negative.
I'm done.
You are helping somebody right now. Because a lot of women can relate to our stories of being molested or being raped. A lot of women can, and they sitting there feeling like you or feeling like it's their fault or somebody did to them like they did me and put a guilt trip on them that if you tell, I'm going to do whatever. For me, it's easier for me to sit here and talk about it because I went to therapy. I said it in my Joseph rants. I just didn't tell y'all what it was. I told you I went to therapy. I told you I can relate to a lot of things women went through. I told you that I went to therapy because I let men abuse me, and the therapist told me something. And every time I think about that part of it, it makes me cry. Because I told her that I don't leave people. I let people abuse me and treat me any old kind of way, and I didn't understand why. And when she told me why, I was so embarrassed and I felt so ashamed because she said at 8 years old, I told on him, and it was like I left a relationship. He gave me a sex drive. So I knew what it was like as an adult to leave somebody and crave sex and can't get it and lose that relationship. And in my mind, that fucked me up because I'm like, how do I want my molester to be in a relationship? Like, that just didn't make sense to me, but it made total sense to me. Why I wouldn't leave people and why I let people hurt me, because you don't think as deep as the psychological thing that it plays on me.
Yes.
And it was like, I felt bad for days after she told me that, because I was like, did I like it? Did I really want him to do this to me? And I went back and I said that to her. I said, you really fucked my head up because that means that I liked it. She said, no, that just means that you knew what it was like to break up with somebody, to lose somebody that sat there and told you they were doing it because they loved you. Mm-hmm. You shared a secret with them, and that made sense to me. And now, see, y'all don't understand. Y'all all say, Joseph, how did you get all your confidence? This is how. And I tell y'all all the time, you look at people and say, how could they live in their truth, and how, but this is why.
It's not easy.
And I tell people, if you had to walk in my shoes, you might not be able to do that.
It's
because
a process.
The things that I've been through and how I like.
It's a process.
I try to tell women all the time. And I keep saying I'm not a woman. I don't think like a woman, but I understand it. I understand what it's like for men just to look at you and want to have sex with you. For even Tremel will tell you when he first met me, I just exude something about sex that men always wanted to touch me. And I started recalling when I was even younger, and this man that my mother used to watch me in the building, I told her, I said, Mom, when I went to therapy, I started thinking about, I said, he used to put my hand on him and tell me that I was being a bad little boy and I shouldn't touch him there. And she was like, what? I said, Mom, it all came back to me in therapy. Because I was only like 3. But men have always just used me for sex. And when I got old enough, I let them. Because that's what I was used to. That's what I know. Mm-hmm. So like when you sit around and call women whores, and you don't know what happened to her. Mm-hmm. You don't know why she's doing what she's doing. Mm-hmm. Most people don't do that because they want to. None of us want to be just used like that. Mm-hmm. None of us do. Yeah, and a part of it, you feel, oh, well, you love me. You know, I'm sexy. I'm this. But at the same token, there comes that time and the realization, like I did, why am I only good enough to have sex with? Why don't nobody want to keep me? I'm a good person. Why am I only good enough to just want to? I'm better than that. So I said, well, guess what? If I'm better than that, then I have to start acting better than that.
It's like Monica said. Monica said this morning, you got to do something nice for yourself every day. You got to do something for yourself. It's nice when you do things for other people. It's beautiful. Oh, God, I'm overwhelmed. It's nice when you do things for others, but you got to do something for yourself. Even if it's just going to the store and buying a pack of M&Ms because you like M&Ms, you got to do something for yourself, and you gotta know your worth. It's your worth. That's your worth.
What it is in the end.
It's your worth that's gonna get you through everything.
You asked me how I built up my confidence. That's how. Because I got tired of being a victim. I got tired of blaming everybody for everything I let happen to myself. No, I didn't let that happen to me when I was 8 years old. I don't use that as I let that happen to me. No, I didn't let that just happen to me. But once I got older and I just let people use and abuse me, and I used and abused myself because I did. I used and abused myself. And I was okay with the fact that I put in my head that it's fine if I just have sex with you and go about my business. Because I had already embedded in my mind, you don't want me. You don't want to keep me. So let me get from you what it is that I want and send you on your way. Mm-hmm. That way, I will never get caught up in my feelings with, why you think I ran from him? I wasn't going to let him catch me up because he, in my mind, when he told me he had to think about it, it was already, see, he's just like everybody else. He don't want me. He just wanted this fun and sex that we had, and he don't want me. He didn't know that. All he knows is that I said, I'm done, cut him off, and went about my business. And honestly, he's finding out this right now because I never told him that until just this moment. Why I just, he thought I was mad at him for all these, and I wasn't mad. I wasn't, because I put in my head, no man wants me like that, so I'll just use them for sex and go about my business. And my friends is like, well, you ain't never had a man to just put it on. No, because in my mind, whatever he did, there's another one that could do it better, and I'm trying to find the one that could do it the best. But that's what I put in my head. It's not what I wanted. It's not what was truly in my heart. I didn't want to be doing those things, but then when reality caught up with me and my mother died, and I realized, and I'm watching my sister with her husband, and I'm watching him console her, everything just said, pop. You have wasted your whole life. Who do you have right now but your 2 dogs? Can't nobody comfort you right now in your time of need? What you going to do, call somebody to have sex? That ain't going to fix it. And that's what started making me do a whole 360. Because I realized when something important happened in life, I had nobody. But that's the way I set my whole life up. I set my life up like that, to have nobody, because I kept believing nobody wanted me. And nobody said they didn't want me. I would meet people all the time. They would tell me I'm a player. I have a lot of people at my door. And I would just brush them off because I didn't believe you. I didn't believe that you wanted to be with me because I didn't think I was worthy. If somebody told me they wanted to be with me, the first words out of my mouth was why. Because honestly, I wouldn't have been with me because I wasn't happy with me. And that's the thing, you gotta find happiness within yourself. That's what we was talking about yesterday. If you don't believe what you putting out there, when I was out there doing my thing, believe me, I believed everything I was doing. I believed everything I was doing was the right thing for me to do. I believed everything. It was nothing for me to meet you on an app, tell you to come to my house, do what we do, and never call you again. Never speak to you again, see you in the street and not even say hello. Act like I don't know who you was because that was my defense mechanism. Now, 1 or 2 times I got caught up. And when it turned out the way that I felt, I had a reason. See, this is why I do what I do. Because I knew this was going to happen. But, babe, at some point, it's easier said than done, but you got to move on.
Oh, I have. I've moved on from it. I've moved on from it. I moved on from it. It's just, even though you move on from it, it doesn't take it away. It doesn't take away what happened. You can't undo what has been done. It never undoes. It never gets undone.
Because
and it always, I don't care how old you get. I don't care.
You always remember it.
It's dwelling in your soul. It's dwelling in your soul. It's just all in the way you process it. And I mean, I could process it in so many negative ways, but I could process it in so many positive ways. Like, Joseph, my mother would not like my hair.
No, but it's not.
She would, but this is not for her anymore. I'm doing things now. I'm doing things now at 53 that I was not able to do at 18. Even at 18.
I think that's why you're torn. I think you're torn because even though that side of you that says, yes, I'm going to do what I want to do, you still kind of have that guilt in the back of your head because you are not pleasing.
No, here's the thing. I don't feel guilty no more. That's the thing. That's my freedom. That's my big freedom. That is my biggest freedom is no guilt. Because that's what I was when I was a kid. I was abused because I didn't have any other choice in the matter. But when I became an adult, I was mentally and verbally abused by my mother. My father was dead by then. I was mentally abused by my mother, and she did it through guilt. And I no longer have that guilt. I don't feel guilty for this. Where I used to, if I dared to do my hair like this, my mother would curse me out so bad to the point where I would not only feel bad and feel stupid, but I would feel guilty for embarrassing her. Because that's what she would say. I'm embarrassed. Like, she would never let me walk in church like this. I don't feel that guilt. I can go to my mother's church. I can walk in my mother's church, in the church that I used to go to. I can walk in that church right now, just like this, with no shame. I don't feel no. Nobody gets to do that to me anymore. I don't feel guilty no more. I don't allow that. Tramel doesn't allow that from himself. When I look in the mirror, yes, I do say, I'm a voice in this world and I deserve to be heard. But you are not going to walk over me. You are not going to take advantage of me. And you're not going to tell me what to do. I'm going to live my life the way I want to live it. And if you don't like it, then that's okay. It's okay. I don't desire to have you in my life. I don't desire to have anybody in my life that's going to be negative. I don't desire it. You know what we've gone through in the past couple of months with certain people. So as soon as you do it to me, the moment you show me that, that's it. Toxic people? No. I don't have no toxic people in my life no more. I don't. And I don't run from them either. I don't run from you. You don't to me, you don't exist. You don't exist. You don't, I don't care. I can see you. I can know you for years. You hear me? I can know you for years. And I will see you out and about, and I will walk past you as if we have never even met. It's not a problem for me. I ask God for that. I ask God for that. People used to tell me all the time, Tramel, you're too nice. Tramel, you're too nice. You let people walk all over you. You let people walk all over you. You need to stop letting people do this to you. You need to stop letting people do that to you. You said that to me. When was the last time you said that to me?
I have to.
No. There's somebody out here right now that don't like this. There's somebody out there right now saying, look at that faggot ass motherfucker on camera. That's your thought? Let it be. Don't matter to me. I get messages all the time about my teeth. You don't like my teeth? You don't like that I don't have no teeth in the bottom of my mouth? Then give me $20,000 so I can get some new ones, because that's what it's going to cost. I would love to have beautiful teeth. I would love it. In the grand scheme of things, I would love it. But this is, like Monica says, you have to accept everything about you. You got to accept yourself, mind, body, and soul. Until you do that, you're going to continue. You're going to continue to walk down this dark path. And if you don't think you're walking down the dark path, and if you don't see the dark path, trust me, the light is dim. The light is dim. My light has been dim. From 18 to 50, my light was dim. But when this man came back into my life, my life is so bright. I don't need nobody but Joseph. Nobody. I don't need no other friends but Joseph, as far as I'm concerned. It's a beautiful thing when I have other friends, like Monica is my friend, Blogs and Fiction is my friend. You know, it's a beautiful thing when you have friends.
The Love King.
The Love Kings. It's beautiful. But if my husband was the one that was left, I would be satisfied with that, because he is the one that brightens up my day. Every day, as quiet and remote as I've been this morning, all he has done is say, it's going to be all right. He didn't even know what was wrong. He asked me what's wrong. I said, I don't want to talk about it.
I knew something was wrong.
I said, I don't want to talk about it. And he didn't say, well, you got to talk about it. You got to tell me. You got to talk about it. None of that. He just said, it's going to be all right. Have I ever told you that it's going to be all right and it wasn't all right? And I said, no. And he said, okay, and left it at that. He said, are you going to be ready? Are you going to be ready to go on this morning? I said, yeah, I'm going to be ready to go on. I know how to put on my game face.
That didn't work.
I know how to put on my game face. What is a game face? What is that?
Oh, I got a game face. I don't sit here and talk to y'all and be dying on the inside, but I'll be smiling and y'all would never know nothing was wrong with me.
I don't have it.
Yeah, you don't. That's why I asked. But it's okay. This is all for a reason.
Thank you, guys.
Whether you know it or not, things happen for a reason. And y'all know what I say about the bushes. It's not y'all in the comment section, because y'all in the comment section done been through something and fixed it. It's the ones in the bushes that's getting the message, that they're sitting there taking in what we saying, taking especially what Tramel is saying, and figuring out how they can apply it to their life to do better. So that's fine. Stay in the bushes because that's where you belong right now. Everybody else in the comment section, trust me. I'm watching Lisa. I'm watching Michelle. I'm watching everybody that's typing stuff. Y'all all done been through something. It don't have to be the same thing. It could be something similar. Trust me, I get it. He when he started, that tears started well enough. Not because he was crying, but because he put me back in that mind space of what happened to me. And it was like, I got my ass whipped too. Oh, my grandmother used to fuck me up. My grandmother used to fuck me up so bad. My mother told her if she ever beat me like the way she beat me, because my mother gave me a bath. And then she put me in the tub and she saw me, my body and my back and my arm. She's like, what happened to you? And I was very nonchalant about it. I said, oh, grandma gave me a beating. She said, what? So she called my grandmother and she told my grandmother, you beat him to the point of where he's black and blue? And, oh, he's light-skinned. My mother said I was light-skinned too when you used to beat the hell out of me. She said, I'm telling you now, I'm a grown-ass woman. If you ever beat my child like this again, I promise you I will beat you till you're black and blue. You did it to me, you won't do it to my kids. That ain't stop her. She just beat me on a Monday. So by the time my mother saw me on a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, the bruises will be gone. Because my grandma used to fuck me up. 9 times out of 10, I deserved it. She ain't beat me for no reason. Now, that I can't say. But when I was older, just like with Tramel, when I confronted her and told her, I said, nowadays, if you beat me the way you did, you'd be in jail. She sat there and cried and said she never beat me like that. My sister's like, yes, you did, because you used to beat me too. You used to beat us relentlessly with ironing cords and mop handles and belts and whatever. And she insisted that she never did it. And we both sitting there like, okay, I know I didn't make this up in my head. And my mother was like, you beat him. You beat him. I saw the bruises.
My mother tells everybody, I always had my children with me. They were always with me. That's not true. No.
You're welcome, Kathleen. Sometimes me and Tramel are transparent, but sometimes we have to be even more transparent because sometimes it just happens. It just happens where, like when I was on that Joseph Rance, when I was talking that day, the part of me wanted to tell y'all that, but the other part of me said, no, don't do that. Because it's something that you don't just want to blurt out. It's something that you're kind of ashamed of. At the same time, you can't blame yourself for it because you're a child. But at the same time, you're still ashamed that it happened. So it's like, I wanted to tell y'all then because I wanted to like give y'all even more of an insight as to why I was feeling and saying the things that I was feeling and saying. And it was just like, he told y'all today. I said, well, I felt led to tell him before, so I might as well get it out now. And the way it happened, my sister, when we talked about it when I was older, and she was like, it happened so quick. I thought because she was little, like I said, she was like 5. And she was like, I always thought that was a dream. I said, girl, it wasn't a dream, it was real. And then I asked her, I said, did he ever touch you? I said, because he always threatened me that if I told, he was going to touch you. So that's why I never told. And of course, she breaks down crying, thinking, oh my God, my brother saved me. I'm sorry. I'm like, it ain't your fault. How is it your fault? Right. Like, you didn't do nothing. He used you as a plot to get me to shut up and not tell. So,
with me, it's always been, you had someone that you could talk to. I never had Joseph could share with Tracy. You could share with Tracy,
but I didn't share that with her until
anybody that I could share with. Like I could only share with somebody that would listen. Like we have a friend up here that we got into a conversation about my mom, and he just felt so. I think he kind of took it personal that I don't have a relationship with my mom, and the more and more I told him. Because he was like, is there anything, because he was trying to say, is there any type of resolution to you picking up the phone and calling her? Is there any type of resolution to you going to her house and having a conversation with her? And the more I told him, the more he was like, oh no, you know, you don't need to talk to that woman no more. Even my own pastor, was like, I'm so sick and tired of these young gay men, you gay men always giving your mothers and your fathers a pass for what they have done to you. No, you don't. They don't get a pass. They don't get a pass for that. My mother doesn't get a pass for that. And even more than ever, you know, when people ask me, well, you know, why don't you just pick up the phone and call her? Why don't you try to talk to her? I don't trust her with my heart, number one. Number two is, what is there to talk about? What is there to talk about? There's absolutely nothing to talk about. She knows what she's done, you know.
But it's like,
she knows that. I mean,
Tramel will tell you, I don't interfere in that.
No, he doesn't. He really doesn't.
No, I don't understand that. Because tomorrow will be 10 years that my mother is gone, and I don't understand that because me and my mother had a total opposite relationship. But at the same token, I get it. It's like, what are we going to talk about? You don't respect my marriage. You don't. She was doing the show. He said, it's our anniversary. She said, so what? Like, what? I get what he's saying. I get it. Because, like, when he tells me, all I told Tramel was, make sure that if you're going to do this, that this is what you really want to do. Mm-hmm. I said, because if something happens in the process, you can't undo what you're doing.
Right.
And he thought about it, and he said, I'm going to be fine.
I'll be fine. Okay. If my mom dies today, I'll be fine.
I don't, for me, if I was him, I know my mother would not have spoken to me since I was able to leave her house and been on my own. She would have never heard from me or spoke to me ever again in life. Mm-hmm. Unless she did some heavy, well, similar to my father. It's the same thing. Like, I'm sure I probably would try to make amends like I did with my father, which he has. But when you keep getting the same answer over and over, like, I owe you something, I don't owe you nothing. You chose to have me. You chose to do this. I don't think there was a baby lineup and I was sitting there screaming, pick me, pick me, pick me. It don't work that way. So I just think I support his decision. Like I said, I've seen a lot of things that have boiled my blood to the point of I wanted to pop, but I just sit there and don't say a word because I'm like, he has to make up his own decision.
Yeah. Even my uncle Fred said, do you want to win the battle or do you want to lose the war? I choose to win the battle. And I choose to I choose to lose the war. I choose to lose the war. I choose to lose the war because I refuse to fight anymore. I refuse to fight. I refuse to fight with my sisters. I have two sisters. One of them I don't speak with because she has just disrespected me in so many ways. And my older sister, she's the only one that I speak to, and we weren't speaking, but we have a common respect for one another only because she's a year apart from me. We grew up together.
Now, see that I intervened in. I did.
But
I told Tramel with his older sister. I said, you really can't be mad at her, Tramel.
Yeah.
I said, because I'm always about, I could get mad at you, but I can only respect you for telling me how you feel. Mm-hmm. And like I told him, I said, she's always told you how she felt. Mm-hmm. She's always kept it real with you.
Do nothing but respect
she just tell you straight up what it is.
Even today.
And you have to respect that. I said, you might not be happy with that, or you might be upset with it, but at the end of the day, you can only respect that because there's nothing underlying with her.
My sister calls me when my sister and we talk on the phone. She talks about my mom all the time, tells me things that my mom says about me and so on and so forth. And she tells me how she feels about me not having a relationship with my mom. And I respect her opinion on that. But at the same time, I am my own person and I make the decision that's best for me.
Well, and people have to understand sometimes you have to treat your family like your friends.
Yeah.
At least with your friends, you can pick those.
Yeah.
Your family is given to you, but that don't mean that they gotta like you.
Yeah.
That don't mean they gotta respect you. That don't mean nothing. It just means that by blood, you're my mother, or you're my father, or you're my cousin, or you're my uncle. That's all that means. Is that by blood we're related. But that don't mean that we have to like each other. That don't mean that we have to respect each other.
Right.
And if I'm not going to sit here and let somebody in the street treat me like dirt, why the hell would I sit back and let a family member treat me like just because you're my family?
But that's my mother. But that's my sister. But that's my brother. But that's my sibling. That's not a good enough reason to continue to deal with toxicity in your life. It's not a good enough reason.
As
it's
close as you see me and Tracy are. And Tracy won't be back in the chat until Friday. She's fine. She just got some things she needs to do. So she won't be back in the chat until Friday. As close as you see me and Tracy are. Me and Tracy, about 4 years ago, we had, and not a physical, but a verbal altercation that was horrific. And I had when I left out of our house, I had absolutely no intention of ever speaking to my sister again. My mother knew that me and my sister, she knew that we could not coexist peacefully more than 2 days. She knew that. On her dying bed, she told me, she said, promise me that when I'm gone, you will always talk to her. You will always be in her life because I know you and I know you will cut her off. I said, Mom, why would you think I would do that? And she was like, because I know how y'all are. I know that she gets on your nerves and she'll piss you off and you'll decide I'm not being bothered with her no more and you won't. And I said, Ma, I promise I won't. When me and Tracy had this altercation, I got in my car and drove off and I said, Ma, I know what I promised you, but I'm done. And we went like a week. And then she picked the phone and called me and she was like, you know what? We are all each other God because Mommy's gone. I said, well, this is what we need to do. I said, we need to come up with some ground rules for each other. We need to come to an understanding that I'm not you and you're not me. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to react the way you want me to react and you're not going to react the way I want you to react. And if we can't accept each other for who we are, then it's just.
And you gotta stick to that. You gotta.
We stick to it.
You gotta hold it.
There are times when Tramel's like, "Why don't you say something? Then why don't you?" And I'm like, because you know why? My sister's like, Tramel, she will be having a conversation with you and go from 1 to 105 seconds flat. You just have to learn with certain people. You have to pick your battles. Mm-hmm. Even like last night. Lisa was laughing at me when I came here and told you about the flyer. Mm-hmm. She was hysterical. She's like, not Joe, just learning how to pick a battle. I was like, she said, but I'm proud of you because that's what marriage is about. I said, why am I going to sit and argue with Tramel over something? If that's the way he wants it, that's the way I said, I'm not going through this with nobody. You know, I told you, I'm not saying nothing to you that I have to apologize for. I'm never going to get so mad at him. And because of me and my sister doing what we did and just sitting there saying evil, hurtful things to each other, right, down to what my mother felt about each other, or what my mother told me about her, and what my mother told her about me. And then she gets in her feelings because I'm like, well, if she didn't tell me herself, fuck her. Mm-hmm. And how could you say that about Mommy? I said, because I don't care what she thought about me if she didn't tell me herself. Like, I'm not doing that with nobody no more because I love my sister to death. And when it came to Tramel, I said, I'm not doing that with him. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to sit
that in our vows.
Right. I'm not going to sit and say evil, hurtful things to him that, one, he's always going to remember it. He's always, I don't care how many times, I know my husband, I don't care how many times you tell him you didn't mean it, you sorry. In the back of his mind, you said it, so that was enough. And two, you look like a fool now when you call him going, I'm sorry, I didn't mean what I said. But you said it. So if you didn't mean it, why did you say it? So I learned the lesson from a different situation. So like now when people, well, you said, yeah, I said it because I meant it. So if I say something to you, believe me and trust me, I meant what I said. And I'm not apologizing for it because I meant what I said. And that's for anybody. Now, if I don't know you, that's a whole nother story. Anything that flies out of my mouth to you is what flies out of my mouth to you. But if I hold you in regards to being a friend or being somebody, that I like or love, I'm never going to say nothing to you that I have to apologize for intentionally.
Right.
Now, we might just be having a conversation and I say something and you get in your feelings and I'm not intentionally trying to hurt you.
Right.
Yes, I'll apologize for that. But it's just, it's a lot, and it's a lot to process.
It is.
And I knew something was wrong with him. I thought it was something totally different. But he kept insisting that it wasn't that. So I said, okay, it'll be fine. And we'll be fine. It'll be fine. He was like, yeah, whatever. I
When
said,
you sleep every 2 days, 3 days.
Said, have I ever told you that something was going to be okay and it wasn't okay?
Mm-hmm.
He was like, no. I said, well, then it's going to be okay.
And I believe him when he says it. I believe you when you say that.
Because it is going to be okay. It's just,
but
I get there like Shamel, but for me, I don't hold it as long as he does. I'll be mad and I'll go through whatever I go through in my head and I'll let it go. Shamel will stay there and dwell there for a minute. And that's what I'm trying to help him get through is like, I get it. It comes. And when it comes, if you want to dwell there for 5 minutes, do that. But don't dwell there for a day. Don't dwell there for 2 days. Don't dwell there for a week. Because there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do to change anything that happened to you in the past. Because I used to do that. I used to sit and I used to say, it's my fault. Why did I do this? Why did I let people do this to me? And then one day I said, you know what? I'm still giving these people power over my life. And
you got to stop asking why. You got to stop asking why.
There are things in life that you will never get an answer for.
Yeah.
So you just have to chuck it up that, you know what? I'm never going to get an answer to why.
It happened.
But all I know is that I need to move on.
Yes, it happened. You have to process it. You have to find a way to process it in a positive way. That's what I have done. I found a way. And, I cry. Sometimes, like very seldom, Joseph, I don't cry. I'm not no crier.
I can tell you something. If he cries, it's because he really.
I don't.
But see, the one thing I'm glad is that he cried today, because I'm a crybaby. I am. I ain't gonna lie. You wouldn't think I am, but I'm a big crybaby. Even my mama told me I was a crybaby, and when I had to close her up in that coffin, I could hear her standing while I was standing there getting ready to close the coffin. I could hear her telling me, "You better not cry. You a big old crybaby. You better not cry." And that's the only thing that's kept me from crying. But Tramel needed to cry because Tramel tries to be strong, and sometimes you need to cry.
And that's because I've always had to. When you've been a passive person all your life.
No, you don't have to be strong with me because I got you.
Well, no, I know that. But when you've been a passive person all of your life, and I've been a very passive person, when people would say to me, Sherelle, do you want something to drink? I would say no when I was really thirsty, because I associated that with, my mom was a nurse. Like I said, she was a nurse, and she would take us a lot of times. She would take us to these doctors' houses to eat, and she would tell us before we got there. My mother was one of the people that had those speeches with you. Now, when we get here, don't you ask for nothing. Sit your ass on that couch and don't say nothing. And I did it. The one time that I was always good for my mom is when she took me somewhere. When she took me over to when she took me to one of her friends' house, especially somebody white, she would take me. I would sit there and we would have dinner. I would take my little napkin and put it in my lap, and I would sit there and her doctor friends would be like, "Oh, your son is just so well behaved." And my sister was the one. My older sister, she was the one that acted like a goddamn fool. She was the one. Can I take some home? She would, like, my sister one time went in the bathroom. We was at the doctor's house, and my sister went to the bathroom, and she did number 2 at the doctor's house, and my sister went in the bathroom after and was like, "Woo, Kelly, girl, you blew that bathroom up." And my mother, when we got home, she went in on my sister. Now she didn't get a beating. See, I would have got a beating. She didn't get a beating, but my mother cursed her out. You hear me? My mother used to call my sister all kinds of bitches and cuss her out, you know. And so it's the conditioning. That's what it is. It's the conditioning, guys. It goes back to the slavery days. Master, when your kids was out of line, Master would tell your heifer, you better get them kids in line. And when you got to that cabin, you got your ass towed up with a switch. Act up again and see what happened. When the young girls in the South, and y'all girls who in the South, y'all know you got pregnant at age 13. And your father, it was just like that scene out of the Women of Brewster Place. Remember when her father beat the shit out of her with that broom on the porch? Oh, yes. My sister was 18 and got pregnant. And my father hid my sister. There was a home for unwed mothers in our town. And my sister had to go there for a little while. And then when she came home and she was showing, she had to stay in the house. Y'all understand what I'm saying? I'm saying these things is because it's the conditioning.
Yep, because
it's the conditioning, guys. It's everything that you were raised with and you grew up with. And your parents, you can go to your parents right now and say, Mom, you did this, you did that, you abused me. My mom, you abused me. It was that time. At that time, that's how it was. I have friends that have told me, Tramel, you got to understand that your mother came up in a different day and age. I have one friend, she has a son that's gay, and her mother constantly calls him the F word. Constantly. And somebody told her, you got to understand, your mother grew up in the 50s. She grew up in the 50s and the 40s. They didn't have that back then. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. We are in a new day and age. You see how some of these children act? We are in a new day and age. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable to allow that behavior, and it's even more unacceptable to keep those traditions, that cycle of conditioning going in your family. Is you have to break it. Y'all got to break it. You got kids, you got to break it. Where your parents said, no, I'm not going to accept you because you didn't do what I told you to do. When I told you to do it, you didn't go to the college I want you to go to. You didn't do what I told you to do. You weren't what I wanted you to be.
Right.
Them days are gone.
They don't remember.
It's
they don't
gone.
Remember doing it.
Yes, that's my mother's thing. My mama tell me all the time. Oh, my mother she all of a sudden she losing her memory. Now she can't remember nothing, right? She can't remember none of this stuff that she did to me. That she told my sister. I don't remember that. I don't remember the way he's saying it, right? But she can remember every single time that I pissed her off, because she tells my sister those stories too. This is what Tramel did. He did this. He did that. Yeah, it's selective memory. She don't remember. It's selective memory. Mm-hmm. My mama even gone so far now, she get lost when she go home. And my sister keeps telling me, oh, well, Tramel, you got to make amends with your mother. You got to make amends with her because, she's losing her memory. I don't care. I do not care. I do not. My mom died a long time ago. And you know what? I thought she died when I stopped speaking to her. No, that wasn't it. I was a premature. My mother, her having me must have been traumatic to her. I'm not saying this. I'm not saying this to excuse anything that she's done, but this is the way I put it in perspective. Her having me was traumatic. I was a preemie. I weighed about 2 pounds, about 3 pounds when I came into this world, and it must have been traumatic for her. And it was probably traumatic for me. But I can never remember my mom hugging me as a child. I can never remember her touching me, except to hit me with a belt. I can never remember her telling me she loved me. When I got older, when I became an adult, I hugged my mom. I kissed her on the cheek and stuff like that. I did that. But I could never, it must have been traumatic for her. I don't know if it was postpartum depression. I don't know what it was. I don't. And I don't care. I don't care. But I know that what I was treated like had an effect on me. It drove the person that I was in my daily life as an adult. It drove who I was. Y'all, I dropped out of high school. My father made me drop out of high school because he wanted me to get a job. And I had to, and I will tell you, I've had some good jobs. I worked on Wall Street. I had a corner office and no high school diploma. I was good. I was good at deceiving. I was good at filling out applications. I knew what to put on a job application to get a job like that. I was a stockbroker's assistant. Look up what a stockbroker's assistant is. And never got caught. I had a 2-figure salary at 21.
2 figures?
3, whatever. I was making good money back then. I was making good money.
2 figures is $20.
Well, whatever the hell it was. I told y'all I ain't good at math.
6 figures?
But I was making good money. I was working on Wall Street. I had a view of the Hudson River. I worked for a company, IBJ Schroeder. Look it up. JP Morgan Securities. I worked there and didn't have a high school diploma. I mean, I finally went and did something about that. But listen, that's what happened to me in my childhood and in my teenage years drove the person where I had to learn how to survive. I had to learn how to survive. I didn't totally have no self-esteem. I had to have some self-esteem in order to do that. Joseph, we were customer service representatives. Hi, hello. Thank you for calling Comcast Cable. My name is Tramel. How may I help? I had a white person on the phone tell me you're not black. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. I'm sorry you don't believe that, but I am. I'm black. Child, what? Listen, long gone are those days for me. I don't work anymore. I'm disabled now. Long gone are those days for me. But I had to go into survival mode. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but this is what happens too when you start living in your truth.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about your life starts pissing you off. Everybody in your life you start getting upset about things all over again, like it just
because you gotta own it.
Because you start realizing all the things you let go by. I know somebody else just like Tramel, and when they start living in their truth, and they start realizing that they allow people to do all the stuff that they blame people for, but they should have been blamed, not necessarily blaming yourself, but holding yourself accountable for letting people do it.
Mm-hmm.
They just like Tramel. Now you can't say nothing to them because as soon as you open your mouth, shut up. You don't tell me what to do, and I do what I want to do.
Joseph, when I could sing, y'all. When I tell y'all I could sing, y'all. I could really, like, I had a really, not no more. I could still do a little something, but I could sing when I was young. I really could. I had a record deal. I had a record deal with one of the biggest people in music. He's still one of the biggest people in music. Google him, Jelly Bean Benitez. He was responsible for the careers of Madonna, Whitney Houston, a group called Snap. You remember Snap? Mm-hmm. I'm still on his label, still on his record label. Ain't sang in years. I could sing, but my self-esteem did not allow me to go any further than that.
And
it's amazing. I think about some of the things that I could have been in music. Oh my God. I could have been Luther.
When you said that, because that picture you posted on Facebook with you modeling,
mm-hmm.
I looked at that. I promise you, because I did not know what was going on with him. I didn't. You heard him say he didn't tell me. I looked at that picture, and I promise you, I thought I said, for somebody who had low self-esteem, Tramel always put himself in the spotlight. Everything that I remember about him, before we got married, you would have never known. And I never knew, because to me, he was just as arrogant as I was.
It was a job. It was a job.
No. But I'm saying he was just as arrogant as I was.
Yeah.
And to know him, you would have never known how he really felt.
Yeah, but it was a job
but I
for
think
me.
over the years, he lost that game face, because the more you get beat down, I think I met him at a time where he was broken, but he wasn't beat. And I think when he came back, he was beat and broken. So that was the difference. Because I told him, I said, I don't know who this is, but this person needs to go back to being the person that I used to know, because I'm not marrying this person. Did I not tell you that?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know who this person is, but I know you have an opinion and you have a mind, and you better open your mouth and speak it, because I'm not marrying this little humble, meek man standing in front of me, because that's not the man that I know.
Because for one of the first times in my life, it wasn't a job for me. It wasn't a job. Listen, y'all, I danced with Michael Jackson. I danced with Michael Jackson. I'm proud of it. Yes, y'all go watch the video after this go off. I was in the bad video. I'm standing right on the right of Michael Jackson. I danced with Michael Jackson.
Somebody asked you yesterday.
All that gone. I let all that shit go. I let it go, and it was because of my self-esteem. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. You're gonna miss out on your blessing. You're gonna miss out on what your real worth is if you continue to let people
dictate your life.
Dictate your life. You're gonna continue. If you continue to do that, I'm telling you, you're going to miss out. Don't miss out. Don't become my age and sit here and tell stories. Because that's all I got is stories. I don't have nothing else. All I got is stories. I can sit here and tell you what Michael Jackson was like. I can sit here and tell you Michael Jackson wasn't gay. I can sit here and tell you so many things that I learned from him in that one video shoot. And what I walked away with. I walked away feeling like, oh my God, I'm on top of the world. I could do anything. But then I went back home. That's what happened. I went back home, Joseph.
I always say don't.
And I allow all those people, those negative people, to talk about me. I had people made me feel bad about being in that video. They made me feel bad about it. I'm telling you, stop it. Stop it. Everybody, before you understand and know this about God, before you leave, everybody has a purpose. You don't leave this world until your purpose is fulfilled. You don't leave this world until your journey, until you walk your full journey. You know that poem, Footsteps. Yeah, God, yeah, Jesus carries you. Jesus carries you when you can't carry yourself. Yes, that's true. But you have a journey to walk. You have a walk. You better walk it. You better walk it. You better walk runway. You better come in like a tornado, girl. You better walk it. I'm telling you. Because if you don't fulfill your journey before you leave this world, your soul is in limbo. Your very soul. It's not your life. Your very soul is at stake. And it ain't got nothing to do with sin. It's like poetic justice. The Lord made this world for us to just fuck up in it. That's what he made it for. He made it so we can just fuck up. Just fuck every goddamn thing up. Just do it. But you gotta walk your journey. You got to fulfill your destiny. And not somebody else's. You are not responsible for somebody else's destiny. Nobody. Me and my husband, we have a safe word. Don't mess with my discount. Y'all know that commercial. Don't mess with my discount. Tell them. Stop it. And if they keep on messing with your discount, you take your coupon somewhere else and redeem it.
Don't live a what if life. Because that's one thing about me. I can't tell you one what if. When I say don't live a what if life, don't sit back and say, what if I would have tried it? What would have happened? Don't live a what if life. I can tell you, if it popped in my head, I have done it. And one of two things happened. It worked or it didn't work.
It popped in my head and I did it,
Like,
but I didn't
wanted
continue.
to go to Atlanta. I shouldn't have moved to Atlanta. But guess what? I can never sit here and say, what if? What if I would have went? Maybe my whole life would be different right now. What if I would have? No, I did it. It didn't work. You move on. People are scared of change.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I embrace change.
I was scared of change. I'm not no more. I ain't scared of change.
I get so bored with the same old thing. I like embrace change as soon as it comes. As soon as the opportunity comes that's different, I'm ready to jump on it and fly into the wind with it. Y'all got to stop being scared of change. Because sometimes change will be the best thing that ever happened for you, but you sit there and fight it and fight it and fight it. And then by the time that you realize change is the best thing for you, you done wore yourself out because you was trying to fight the whole change to begin with. And it's just, you can't, I say embrace change. Don't be scared of change. Let change happen. It could be for the better. And if you are scared of change, don't jump in head first. Wade in the pond a little bit and make sure you get your little feet wet and see what it's giving. Me, I'm jumping in head first. And I'm going to either sink or swim. And if I start sinking, I'm going to figure out a way out of the damn pond and get back on the surface and get back on the sidelines. I don't know how y'all do it. I don't know how people live for other people. I don't know how people let other people dictate their lives for them. I have never done. Now, I have let people dictate my life, meaning that I let my past start to dictate my future. And that's when I realized that I was allowing people control over my life. And that's how I was able to break that cycle. Because I'm so hell-bent on not doing what people tell me to do, that's how stubborn I am. When I realized, these people ain't even a part of your life, but they're still controlling your life because you're sitting here thinking about it and it's pissing you off and they're not pissed off. I am so hell-bent on people not telling me what to do that if I even think about my past, I can let it go because in my mind, they're still controlling me and I have to let it go. Because if I don't let it go, I'm letting people control me. And that's how deep control goes with me. That I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. I'm not going to let anybody control my life. I'm not. Like, even, I can't even lie, even with the Bible. If I read this one passage in Romans that said, God doesn't want you to be a slave to him, I probably would have tried a different religion. Because I felt like, why do I have to follow all these rules? Why do I have to do this? Why do I have to do that? You're not going to tell me what to do. I know I love God. I don't have to do this to love God. I don't have to listen to you. And then the older I got and realized most of this crap they telling me is man-made stuff, has nothing to do with God to begin with. I'm like, okay, well, I can love God, and I ain't saying I'm going to go out here and rape, rob, kill, and steal. But I'm saying, within reason, I don't have to sit and listen to people in church tell me, well, if I was a woman, you can't wear a skirt past your knees, and you can't wear makeup, and you can't this, and you can't that. The Bible don't never say that. Not one time in the Bible is there any passage like that. Now, what it do say is that you ain't supposed to mix your threads, but everybody in church be having on polyester blends. So that's not even natural.
I don't even want to get into that. I don't even want to get into
No, but I'm saying the real control aspect of it is why I always didn't want to be bothered with church, other than the whole church hurt thing.
No, I'm saying that because I'm really thinking about doing a video on Andrew Caldwell, and I'm really trying to I'm battling with that. I really want to do a video on him. No, not to put not for the reasons that you
it's
think.
Like he made a video the other day, and I put in the video, and everybody agreed with me because he was doing his little. If you saw the video on Facebook, and I saw, and I made a comment. I said, "Church has really
damaged him,
fucked you up."
Yeah,
that's what I said. I said, "Church has fucked you up."
It really
and
has.
You don't even realize that church has fucked you
We've
up.
had this conversation.
But
I told
it's not
you,
just him.
I believe that Andrew Caldwell is one of the nicest. He looks like he is one of the nicest people in the world. But that's what religion. That's what religion and church did to him.
It did that,
but and it did that to millions of us.
He's using it as a ploy to stay relevant. Because I don't believe half the things he say. And in that video where he's
I
cursing,
don't believe half of the things he
that
said.
video where he's cursing the people out, acting like a normal person. I'm like, okay, where's Jesus now? And half of what he's doing is just to stay relevant. So it's like, to me, he's a joke and don't need to be addressed no more. And, well, at least by me, because I just feel it's a waste of time. Because I see one video of you cursing people out, then I see another video of you praising God and blah, 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 speaking in tongues.
No, I see a child hurt like me. When I see him, I see a child.
I see somebody who's
hurt
lost.
like me.
I see somebody who wants to fit in somewhere and they can't, because they can't fit in with the gays. They can't fit in church. They can't fit in with regular people because it's just not going to happen. And the bad part is people be in the comments rooting for him, and he don't
and cussing us out.
Oh, on our videos about him, child, we get cursed out about to this day. If somebody sees them, we get cursed out about it. I don't care.
Yeah, we
because it's my personal opinion, and I was being messy. We was being messy. I ain't even gonna lie.
I wasn't being messy. I was pissed off because I've seen that. I've seen so many Andrew Caldwell's is ridiculous. And it's just, so it was a little bit was being messy because I was like, but for the most part, I've seen so many of him. I've seen so many of him that I just wanted to just grab by the arms and just shake him and tell him, you don't need to do all of this. You don't need this. You don't need to do all of this. You know, but hey.
To each his own. Everybody got to do what they do. Everybody has a coping mechanism.
It's like you said, it really doesn't serve any purpose, but I would really love if I did a video on him, I would really like. See, my thing he's one of those people. He's one of those young men that I would really love to talk to.
But no, you know what? I agree with you to a degree. I agree with you to him. No, but I agree with you to a degree, because if he didn't change his story based on everybody else, like if he stuck with one narrative, I would agree with you. But because he goes from place to place to place, it meaning narratives and stories that he's telling.
Yeah, but it's not his story. I'm talking about the story his aunt told. I've heard the story that his aunt told and his family told. When I say that, I mean he's never. Okay, so if I tell my story is always going to be the same. Yeah, his story goes from this today, this tomorrow, this day, back to this, now here, and back to this, and over there, and over. It's like. It's attention. It's more attention. Yeah, but it's church hurt.
But it's more looking.
But it started with church hurt, Joseph. It's church hurt. I promise you that.
No, I agree with that. And they set him up to do what he did, and now
I'm not even talking about the I'm delivered. And I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about church hurt. It's church hurt from the day that somebody walked him into a church. It was church hurt. It was church hurt. It's a combination of church hurt. It's a combination of physical abuse. It's a combination of church hurt, physical abuse, mental abuse, sexual abuse, verbal abuse, and all those things. Huh?
You don't know he was sexually abused.
Yeah.
When he said that?
No, he didn't say it. His aunt said it.
Well,
his aunt that raised him said it. His aunt that raised him said that he was sexually abused. His aunt also said that he was. I don't want to get into all of that. His aunt, she did an interview on YouTube. I don't know where it is. I don't remember her name, but she did an in-depth interview
on him. I don't understand why he annoys you so much, because I'm like, oh.
He annoys me. You know why?
It annoys me when I see him live and I see him act the fool. And I ain't gonna lie, I'll be in the comment section reading him for dog filth. I do. And some of you
really want to know why he really annoys me a lot?
Some of you that watch us see me in the comments and they be like, get him, Uncle Joe.
You know why he annoys me so much?
Why?
Because he's just like my abuser. He's just like my cousin that raped me from age 10 on up. He is classic textbook. The same. He reminds me of my cousin that raped me all those years. Just every single word that come out of his mouth. He even looks something like him. I kid you not. That's why it annoys me so much.
Well, then maybe you should stop watching.
I don't watch him. I don't watch him. I hear you. Sometimes I do. Sometimes I do. But I hear you when you listen. When you be watching, I be listening. But that's why it annoys me. He don't annoy me. The whole situation annoys me.
And it annoys me because you got to understand, just like you grew up in the Holiness Church. Now your church was worse than mine.
Yes, I mean, Pentecostal.
I grew up in the Pentecostal church.
I grew up in Pentecostal
and so
church.
You know how them boys was in the Pentecostal church, in the Holiness Church. You know, Joseph. You and I both know. We can share stories. We can swap stories.
The one thing about that was for me, and maybe I was.
But see, you was a fighter. I wasn't a fighter.
The boys in church never messed with me.
Yeah.
Never. And well, that's probably because my grandmother never let me out of her sight. But I don't know. I can't.
Yeah, but see, child. That's a whole nother show. I'm telling y'all, the whole nother. I really would love to do a show.
I hear church stories about
colorism. No. I would like to do a show on colorism and how Black people don't understand what that means and what colorism really, really is and how deep it is in the Black community. Y'all ever seen that movie School Days? You know, the gamma rays and the jigaboos. You know, the light skin versus the dark skin. That is real. That's colorism. You listen. Until you have lived colorism, it will. I'm telling you, colorism will blow your mind. It will blow your mind, Joseph. You know how ugly I felt when I was a kid, because not because I thought I was ugly in the face. It was my skin. I'm light skinned compared to what I used to be when I was a kid. I was this color. I was this color when I was a kid, and kids would make me feel so bad. I would run. You think you talking about hiding in the bushes? Oh, child, I would hide in the bushes in the park. There was this big tree, the weeping willow. There was a big tree. But I kid you not, I used to go to day camp. I stayed in that tree all day. All day I was sitting in that tree. And the kids, so much so the kids would call me a little black monkey. They did. When the Planet of the Apes came on, I was Planet of the Apes. Colorism is y'all. That's why when Armand Wiggins did what he did when he was calling that girl on Basketball Wives, he was calling her all kinds of names. That's why I didn't think that was funny. I didn't. I never think it's funny when people tease people about their color. And Black people, more people my color experience racism and colorism in their own community, because they say Black people can't be racist. You can be racist against your own race. Yes, you can. I experienced more racism with my own people, both positive and negative, because I've dated guys and they told me, oh, well, the only reason why I dated you is because you were so beautiful. You were beautiful, but you were so Black. And they thought that was such a compliment. And to me, it wasn't a compliment. It wasn't. It hurt my feelings. It made me cry. It made me feel lesser than. Like a trophy or something like that. Colorism is it's real.
Because we always argue about this.
It's real. It is. It's real, Joseph. And on the flip side, colorism is real for you too. Because I've said things about light-skinned people, like clap on, clap off.
I just think it affects dark-skinned people more, because the names that a light-skinned person can call you are worse than the names that you call
Like
me.
you say, who would you always pass for?
They always think
Puerto
I'm
Rican.
Puerto Rican or Dominican.
Puerto Rican or Dominican.
They never think I'm Black.
I can never pass for anything but African or Jamaican.
Child, you've never been in the Dominican Republic, because there's Dominicans your complexion.
Yeah.
There's only a little metal fence separating Haiti from Dominican Republic.
But let's be real, it ain't a whole bunch of Dominicans in the Black community.
Yes, they are.
Well, no.
When you
get
go
what I'm
to the
saying.
Dominican Republic, there are less that look like me.
I grew up with
and
Dominicans.
more that look like you. I'm talking about actually in the Dominican Republic.
I grew up with a lot of Dominican people.
Dark-skinned Dominicans than there are ones that look like
Yes,
me.
I mean, I grew up with Dominican people. I know that there are Dominican people my color, but what I'm saying is where I grew up in the South, Even I've had dark-skinned people call me Black names and stuff like that.
The same thing back.
By that time, the damage was done, Joseph. It was done.
You know?
You just need.
I had this one kid look at me. I kid you not. This is one of my teachers. Her name was Miss Scott. I'll never forget. Miss Scott. She had a little grandson. She brought her grandson to school, and he was about this dark. And I told y'all when I was a kid, I was much darker than I am now. And he looked at me just like this while his grandmother wasn't looking, and he said, "You are so black and ugly." Like you know how Miss Sealy, how Sugar Avery said, "You sure is ugly." Child, that was a common name for me. You sure is ugly. You black and you ugly. And what could I say? I didn't know what to say. I could say something, but I didn't know what to say. I wasn't a fighter.
Child, the little black girl that told me I was the color of piss, honey. When I told her she was the color of shit, I'm sure she ain't never tell another light-skinned person they was the color of piss.
But see, I wasn't a fighter.
She's like, you a little piss color boy. I said, you a little shit color girl, and I'd rather be the color of piss than the color of shit, bitch. She ain't never said nothing else to me ever again.
Right, but see, when you were a fighter, I wasn't a fighter. See, my fighting really didn't. When I did, y'all, you gotta understand. When you've been beat down. I was beat down by my parents. I was always getting beat. I was always getting beat. I was always. My father and my mother believed that your kids had to have fear. They had to fear you. My father always said that. I'll take you. I brought you in this world, and I'll take you out. He even tried. When I told him I was gay. He even tried to kill me. He did. He tried to kill me. So when it's the conditioning, it's just like the slaves. That's how they broke slaves. Them slaves that was too proud. That's how they broke them. They broke them down. They beat the skin off of their back. That was me. Shit, my father was whooping my ass at home. What makes you think I was gonna go out there and fight somebody? What makes you think I was going out there? And then when I did fight somebody, I would fight girls. I would fight somebody that was smaller than me, or I would fight somebody like you, somebody that was big, somebody that was, because I felt like fat people couldn't run, and I could run faster than they could. It was this one with the two boys, Tyrus McNeil and Darren Dinkle. I even tried to apologize to them on Facebook for what I did to them. I made their lives a living hell, because hurt people. I made their lives a living hell. I used to tell Tyrus every day, I'm gonna beat your ass after school. And they would, and you know, all the other brothers in school would see me beating up on these little fat guys, or beating up on girls, or beating up on people smaller than me, and then they would jump me, and people would celebrate when I got my ass whooped. But they didn't realize what I had been going through. They didn't know. These kids didn't know what I was going through at home. They didn't realize what I was dealing with as far as colorism. They was just calling me names, because that's what kids did. Kids call each other names. They didn't realize that it was deep. It was taking that knife and stabbing it and putting it deep in my heart. You know that?
Slapped the shit out of one of them.
I did. Some of them I did. Some of them I did. Some of them I slapped the shit out of. But some of them I just wasn't able to beat. I wasn't able to beat all of them, Joseph. You know what I'm saying? So that was my life. That was my life. The passiveness, the passive. You saw it for yourself.
Yeah, I couldn't be with you being that little passive man.
I got married. When I married my husband, I invited my mother to my wedding. You know what she said? I can't come to your wedding. I don't know if my heart can take it. Excuse me. 50 years old, I got married. It wasn't like she just found out. Right? Wasn't like she just found out. I don't know if my heart can take it. I showed my mother a picture of me. There's a picture that I always put up, right? Of me and you kissing at our wedding. I showed my mother that picture. She almost passed out.
Maybe she would have passed out.
From that picture alone. She almost passed. She almost passed out. Right there at the birthday party, at your birthday party. Remember? She said, oh my God, the kissing, the kiss.
She never asked me if I wanted anything, if I needed anything. You need anything for your wedding? You need anything? You okay? You prepared? Now, meanwhile, she going around telling everybody, I don't agree with what my son is doing, but I love my son, and all I want is his happiness. A year, and 4 months later, my baby sister got married. Oh. My mother used me and my husband. My car got repoed. And she knew that my husband knew where to get her a car from, because her credit was ruined. So my husband took her to the dealership where we got our car from and helped her get a car. That woman got in that car that we were moving up here to Rome, New York. And she was so selfish. They told her, they said, okay, Miss McRae, your car will be ready tomorrow. You have to come and pick it up. We were moving the next day. She said, well, you and Joseph are going to have to come and bring me to get my car. It was like, no, we can't do that. We moving. She said, I don't care.
No, it wasn't we. It was him, because he didn't tell me till after.
Yeah. She broke her neck to get to Virginia. And when I tell you, she did everything from pay for my sister's wedding to help her with it. And she couldn't even show up at mine. She comes showing up at the damn reception. And when my husband told her that I was crying before she got there, you know what she said? She rolled her eyes at my husband. My husband said, Miss McRae, thank you for showing up, because before you got here, he was crying. And she rolled her eyes at my husband. But she loved me. You love me.
And see that I try to get Tramel to understand something.
And people wonder why I don't care.
One time.
People wonder why I don't care.
And after that, you leave them alone. Mm-hmm. And I get it.
I learned a lesson. I learned a big lesson. I was like,
and it's just, I do the things he asked me to do, I did because it was him.
It started to become a cycle.
But then when I have to get up out of my bed at 6 o'clock in the morning because you don't know how to use your phone, or not
use her phone. She can't play words with friends.
You're gonna drive me all around the house, all around the town, and I'm exhausted, and you don't care. Mm-hmm. Or he tell you I've been to dialysis, and then you hit with, so he better do it. See, he didn't tell me this bullshit until after the fact, because he knew goddamn well if he told me beforehand, I ain't got no problem. No, I'm not doing it. I don't care. I'll tell my own mother no if she was alive. So I really don't give two shits about telling you no.
Won't happen no more. Like I told y'all, my mother died.
He ain't tell me none of this stuff till after the fact.
December 15th.
He already knew that if he told me beforehand, it would have never happened.
December 15th, 1967, I was born, and my mother died. She died. I thought she died 9 months ago when I stopped speaking to her. No. My mother died the day she had me. She died the day she had me. She did. Because I was never treated like a child should be treated. Ever. I was never treated like a child should be treated. And I don't care how many times my sisters tell me I got what I deserved and I was bad and I did this and I did that. I never got what I deserved as a child. Never. No child deserves to be beat. No child. I don't care how bad they are. And I've said it my damn self shit. I told my sister, whoop his ass. Whoop his little ass. No child deserves to be beat. No child deserves to be beat. Every child deserves...
Well, now let's rephrase that.
No, every child deserves...
They don't need to be beat like a runaway slave. No.
Yeah,
they need their little asses tapped and their little hands popped.
Maybe,
yeah,
but not to the point where I was.
Not like a runaway slave.
Not like I was.
Taking your whole life's frustration out on your kids when you beat them. No,
not like I was. And yes, I was tied to chairs. I was tied to radiators. I was beat outside in front of my friends. I was beat in front of my classmates. No child deserves that. No child. I don't care what they do.
Academics, you said I was a mean girl. I was, if they was mean to me. One thing about me, if you leave me alone, you ain't never got to worry about me bothering you. Ever. I'm just not that person. But if once you send for me, it's on and popping. I'm not going to stop until I decide you've had enough. Because I don't bother nobody. I can be. I've hung around the mean girls, the real mean girls that would just pick on people just because.
Mm-hmm.
I never participated with them in those type of ordeals because I've just never. Tremel will tell you, I'm not a bully.
No, he's not.
I'm not. If you don't bother me, I'll never mess with you. But once you bother me, I'm not going to stop until I feel you've had enough. And believe me, I can go on forever until I feel you got the point to leave me the hell alone. Because I honestly don't bother nobody. I'm a firm believer in live and let live. Mind your business. I mind my business. And that's just how life should be. What you do is
I think
not
that's
my
the reason why
concern.
we ended up getting married, because I was always protected by somebody like you. And that's what I became attracted to growing up. I mean, you know, in my adult life, I was always attracted by some big oversized guy. The big oversized guy in the neighborhood always protected me. And that's just how my husband is like, he ain't that much bigger than me. I'm 6 feet. He's 6'3". But I was always protected by the big guy in the neighborhood. He was always light skinned, just like you, and big. And used to drink chocolate milk. He did. He used to drink chocolate milk. I kid you. He used to drink chocolate milk.
Val used to have me drinking strawberry quick in milk because that's all she used to drink all the damn time. And she started me drinking strawberry quick in milk.
That make you make paste.
Well, I guess me and Val was pasty when we
y'all
were
was making paste. Y'all know what making paste is, right? Yeah, you was making paste. But yeah, I was always protected by a big guy. That's why
You surprised I remember that, right, Val?
I was always attracted to big guys. Always attracted to guys. Like my husband, I constantly, like, when we sleep at night, I constantly look at his legs and his feet to make sure they still big. Because now he talking about he want to lose weight. My husband got some big, beautiful calves. Like, y'all should see his calves. He got some big, beautiful calves and big, beautiful. He just big to me. Like, he's like y'all. What was that movie with the big giant man? They tied him down. That's who he is to me.
From Gulliver's Travels.
Yes. When he sleep, I'll be sitting there looking at him just like that.
You was messing with me the other night.
Yeah,
I remember you was. But that night, I wasn't all the way asleep.
Every night I mess with him. Every night I have to touch him. Every night I do this. I touch his face, and I touch his arms, and I touch his legs, and I sit there sometimes and I stare at his feet because he got big feet. My husband's size 13 foot. I look at his pretty feet. He got pretty feet. I ain't got pretty feet. He got pretty feet. And I sit there and I watch him. And I'm to make sure he's okay.
He be kissing my eyes. That's what I felt. I was like, is he kissing my eyes?
Make sure
I was
he's
so
okay.
tired though. I couldn't even open them.
Make sure he's okay. I have to make sure he's okay. For two reasons. Because his family threatened to kill me if something happened to him, if I let something happen to him.
Just like the one in the chat. Yeah, said she would hunt you down.
Hunt me down like a dog, honey. I would never forget those words. Hunt me down like a dog. But yeah. Guys, listen, I have to tell y'all something. Where's it at?
You moved it.
We got it. It came in the mail. This is the new soundboard that we wanted. Now, I know it looks small, but this bad boy was expensive. But we got it. We finally got it. It came in the mail. Thank you, all you guys that contributed to us getting the soundboard. I haven't connected it yet because I still have to get some wires and stuff for it. So, you know, that's where the next donations that you guys send in will go. It will go towards all the different wires and connections that I need to connect everything. So, and I will purchase some of them myself. But thank you so much. We thank you so much for this. We really, really needed it, and it's going to do a lot for the platform. It really is going to do a lot for the platform. Also, I got to thank one of our subscribers that bought us this big ring light right here. so that when we are out and about and we travel, because we travel usually but unfortunately under the circumstances we don't travel, but we when we travel we always need lighting. We need lighting and we need sound equipment. We have, although we have in-house mics, and both of these were purchased by you guys. We just recently got that mic over there, when we travel out and about, when we do our motivational speaking and things like that, we do need equipment to travel with. So thank you so much. Thank you all for your contributions. Like I told you, anytime you donate to our platform, it goes right back into our platform. I wish I can get me some some of that real Hawaiian silky yaki hair and stuff like that. This is synthetic, but I wish I can get some of that good hair and stuff like that, so I can be, giving y'all girls all this armor. But listen, the platform is more important than that. I can do with this. Y'all see, I still do it, right? Y'all see, I still do it. I make do with this. Y'all don't worry about the look. Well, sometimes we ask y'all for donations to get our clothes that we wear when we go out, because we do have a stylist that we work with, and sometimes I style us. Your money goes back into our platform. It goes strictly back into our platform, and we thank you and we appreciate every single dollar. Every single dollar, we appreciate it. And we are humbled by it. We don't take it for granted, because there are a lot of content creators that do this that get absolutely nothing. There's a lot of content creators that ask for absolutely nothing. And we are humbled by it and we appreciate it. We want to show, we will always show you that we appreciate it. We really do. We really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. But that's all I wanted to say. We probably get ready to get out of here because I'm hungry. I was thinking I was sleeping. I was wanting me a Subway sandwich. A BLT. That BLT gave me life the other day. I think, Joseph, you should go over the questions for the contest again, and remind people. Also, while he's doing that, I know that we also have a panel discussion coming up. He's gonna
do one when he do mine. Let me see a transcript.
Do what?
Installation video of the hair.
Yeah. I am.
But I'm not getting mine done until it get cold, because
this stuff is hot. Let me see your transcript. This is hot.
I can't deal with the glue and the heat.
Yes,
I'm gonna let him. Y'all are gonna see me good and blonde. I'm gonna have a short, blonde, wavy.
Yeah, I know how. Yeah. He ain't gonna have the long hair. Joseph don't like the long hair. He did it one time. He did it one time.
And I am gonna let him.
He did the dreads one time, and I'm
gonna let him do a dreaded style for me, kind of like when he did his short.
Yeah. And back then I was just a novice at it. Now I'm a perfectionist. Like, I can really make it look like y'all. This is like it's growing out of my head.
I might even let him do that blonde in the mohawk style.
Yeah, I can do that too. I know how to do I know how to do it real good now, y'all. I done mastered it. I done mastered this. It took me a long time to do this. How long have I been doing my hair? For about 2 years now. No, since we got married. Yeah. So, I've mastered it now. I know how to do all different kind of hairstyles. I know how to do brush waves, all that stuff, y'all. All that. We have a very. I'm so excited. We have a big panel discussion that's coming up on Friday, and it's going to be on our good friend Monica's platform. She's a part of the TBT squad, which means Truth Be Told. As a matter of fact, that is the name of the panel. It's called Join Us for a Night of Truth Be Told, which is the TBT squad. And it includes Monica of MJ&J family, and it's also ourselves, the McRae Kingz. And we're having a special guest. Her name is Elisa Middleton. She is one of the leading activists in the Black Lives Matter movement in
the Black Coalition.
In the Black Coalition in Maryland. Is it Maryland? Virginia. And she is going to be on our panel, and we are going to talk about some really, really important topics.
And it's going to be hosted.
Yes, it's going to be
by
hosted.
Your favorite person on
Yes.
YouTube.
YouTube's on
Fiction.
Blogs and Fiction. And we are going to have a discussion about some important things that we as Black people need to start having a discussion about yesterday. We're going to talk about voting. We're going to talk about mom life, Monica's movement, mom life. We're going to talk about Black Lives Matter. We're going to talk about what we as Black people are going to do, not need to do. Key word, what we as Black people are going to do moving forward. We're also going to have a discussion about the madman, Kanye West. He wants to offer everybody that has children $1 million per child if they vote for him. We got to have a discussion about that damn one child. Because Kanye is sitting up there somewhere saying something. He's sitting up there somewhere saying something, Joseph. Now, if y'all think that Kanye West going to give y'all $1 million every child, y'all got
that's not
nothing
going to happen because Kim already tried to take a doctor and put him in the mental
Yeah, she needs
institution.
to. He needs to be in a mental institution. When he said Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, Harriet Tubman just gave them to other white people. So he needs a psychiatrist. He needs a psychiatrist and a lobotomy.
So if y'all have not connected with Monica on the MJ&J family Mukbang, I shared her premiere post on our community wall for that for Friday. So you can just go there and set a reminder for yourself and go to her page and subscribe to her page so that you can set a reminder so you can make sure you're there Friday. It'll be 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And
if anybody out there that's listening, especially let me see your transcript. We're trying to find a national database for voter registration because we want to get the word out there. We want to get the word out there. We want to get the voter registration word out there. We want to get people out. We need the masses to come out and vote this election. And also we're going to talk about what elections are important. What are the most important elections? Because a lot of Black people think that the presidency is the most important election, when in reality, that's really not. It's really not the most important election. With that being said, guys, Joseph, you gonna go over the questions, or you just gonna have to deal with going back and watching the videos if they want to know what the questions are. Because you want to do that too. I'm sure the two people that have answered the questions don't mind you not going over the questions.
They don't mind. They only between the two of them.
Okay. In the meantime, I'm gonna get the prize that they will win, so everybody can see that again.
So the first, if y'all are gonna do it, I'll give you a second to get a pen and paper so you can write this down. Alrighty. So the first video is Meet Sister Lulabelle Gussie Mae Jenkins. That's the first video you have to watch. And the question is, who gave her her dress? The second video is Cooking with His Majesty. Cooking with His Majesty is the video. The question is, what type of sausage did Tramel use? What type of sausage did Tramel use? The third video is Moving On Without My Father in My Life. Moving on without my father in my life. And that question is, what movie did Joseph's father take him to see? What movie did Joseph's father take him to see? Now, the fourth question is coming from one of the podcasts. You can find the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. And you can get the answer from there. The podcast you're going to look for is Church Hurt. And the question is, what happened when Joseph's mother left a Bible in her father's house? What happened when Joseph's mother left a Bible in her father's house? Now, the bonus question to win a king or queen ring, depending on who you are and which one you want.
Here's the king ring. That's the king ring. You see, it's the crown.
The woman's one is totally different.
Yeah, the woman's one is totally different. The queen ring is a tiara. It looks like a tiara.
But the men's one is a crown. The question is, how how long was the distance between when me and Tramel reconnected? Now, I'm not telling you a video for that. You can listen to the podcast, the ones that are titled Love and Marriage, because we said it there. You can go to Let Me See a Transcript and look at her interview with me and Tramel. We said it there. And we have a host of other videos that we've said it on of our own. That one you have to do your own research. I gave you a little hints where you can find the answer, but it's no specific video, no specific podcast, because we said it on quite a few. And if you choose to answer all the questions, plus the bonus question, you'll win a king or queen ring, as well as the Samsung Chromebook, which I don't know what Tramel is doing right now.
It's not here. It's on the table.
The Samsung Chromebook that he's going to show y'all in a minute. It's brand new. It's a Samsung Chromebook. And there is no way just to win the ring. You have to do all or nothing. So you win the Chromebook and the ring, or you just win the Chromebook if you don't answer the bonus question. But there's no way to just win the ring.
It's a brand new Samsung Chromebook.
And
somebody out there would love to have this.
And we are going to, starting in August, we're going to have another giveaway. We're working with Blogs and Fiction with. We'll give you all the details once we iron that out. But I think you guys will like it. And yeah, that's for the giveaway. You have until 11:59, July 31st, to email us those answers. The email is either TheMcRaeKingz@gmail.com, and that's Kings with a Z, or TheMcRaeKingzCorner@gmail.com. Either email. The emails are in the description box. You can either email with your answers, and your name will be put in the drawing. Right now, there's only 2 people that have answered the questions. They are all correct, and they answered the bonus question. The bonus question is correct as well. So far, there's only 2 people in the running. All you guys have until the 31st to submit your answers to us. And on August 1st, we will be picking a winner. So, on that note, make sure you follow us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. If you haven't subscribed to us here, please hit that subscription button, hit that notification bell so you know when we go live, as well as share a video out, one of your favorite videos of us, and tell a friend.
Yes.
And if you want some McRae Kingz merchandise, please make sure you click the link in the description box for our merch. There's everything that you want is in there. A lot of the sayings that we say, spun, slapped, and fucked up. My favorite saying, fuck them. Jamel's favorite saying, lies from the book of lies. Spun like a tornado girl. Come in the room like a tornado girl. All those sayings are on T-shirts and apparel, and mugs, and
don't forget next month is Friends and Family Month
in the McRae Boutique. So make sure you do that right, Trisha.
And also don't forget we're doing special T-shirts. We're doing special order shirts in August. So anything that you want on your McRae, on your Team McRae shirt,
yes, you drive him crazy with that.
You just email me what you want on it, and I will put it on there. That's only for next month. Yeah, y'all ain't gonna be getting on my damn nerves with these damn shirts. Only one person sent me a request, and I granted her request. And we still working on that autograph thing, y'all.
If you want us to sponsor a product, or you have a commercial you want us to play during the video, just email us at TheMcRae Kingz or TheMcRaeKingzCorner@gmail.com, and I will send you the price list. If you have products like hair products or hair that you sell that you want Tramel to try out, the P.O. box is in the description box.
And for bookings and appearances as well.
Email us for that. And on that note, you know how we always do. Make sure you enjoy your day and make it the best day ever. Stop letting people control your life. Take back your control.
And live in your
Walk
truth.
in peace, love, sunshine, and happiness. And always remember,
Tell them, Joe Mel, it's Team McRae.
all damn day.
Talk to you soon.
Later, y'all.
Say bye. Say bye. Say bye, everybody.
Say bye. Don't
Say
look
bye.
bad. Look at the people and say bye.
Look at all the peoples. Say bye. Say bye, Daryl Moore.